I'm totally going to buy a violin from Olaf, the violin maker. Here I am now. Yay! And you know why I'm going to buy a violin? I heard that violinists are smarter. And I'm not going to buy a VSO this time. I've got $2,000 and I'm going to buy a good one. Hey Olaf! Hey, how are you going? Hey, listen Olaf, I was just wondering, do you have a good violin? I've got about $2,000. Alright, $2,000, that's a good budget. You definitely get you get a nice instrument that's actually going to last you a little while, and you won't need to upgrade so quickly. So I don't like those really shrill sounding ones. I want something a little bit, like tiny bit deeper, So darker sound, hey? Maybe like in your budget, the Pierre Lamont might be nice. So Pierre Lamont, you reckon? Yeah, all right. Might give that one a go, eh? Yeah, take a look. I'll grab one for you. Here we go. This is really nice. So this is the Pierre Lamont, and I think you'll love it. I mean, I've got a bunch of other instruments, but this kind of has the depth of tone that I think you might be looking for. Okay. That looks good. Oh, wow. All right, so you hold the bow a bit like this. Let me try. I like it. I'm gonna take it. I'll buy this one. It's $1,800 without a bone case, but it is $2,100 with a bone case. So does that mean that I'm now a violinist because I have a violin and I'm gonna play it? I've heard that they have done neurological studies of the brain, and they realize that musicians are way smarter. Oh my God, I finally understand this maths equation I've been working on for years. Oh my God. Guys, it really works! Violinists are smarter! Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ask Olaf the Violin Maker. Hey, violinists are smarter. No, really, they are, but so are viola players, cellists, double bass players. Well, actually, people who play a musical instrument are smarter. Now, why do I say that? Do I have any real proof? Well, actually, I do. So firstly, it's been scientifically proven. There's an educator called Anita Collins whose TED Talk really explains why musicians are smarter, but also I personally have experienced it in my nearly 35 years of being a violin maker.
Brains of musicians are different from the brains of non-musicians. There are about 5 different areas where the brains of musicians are larger, structurally.
So one thing I've noticed is that most of my young clients are much better at school. So they really excel, and I would say over 90% of string players that I know get way above average results at school. And that's kind of exciting because, why study when you can play a musical instrument? So the other thing that I've noticed that a lot of the clients I have that are hobby players are actually doctors, dentists, engineers, and some of them, they're either studying it or actually have careers in those subjects. And that's really amazing. One of my clients actually finished school age 16, went on to study medicine and became one of the youngest doctors in our state. I think she was a doctor by the time she was age 20 or 21, which is absolutely crazy. So why is that happening? Anita Collins did a TED talk on some of the research that's been happening. And the interesting thing is that they studied a lot of different activities. So people reading and writing and doing maths and things like that use certain parts of their brain. So certain parts of their brains would light up. When it came to playing a musical instrument, apparently they said it was like fireworks in the brain.
But inside their brains, there's a party going on. How do we know this? Well, in the last few decades, neuroscientists have made enormous breakthroughs in understanding how our brains work by monitoring them in real time with instruments like fMRI and PET scanners. When people are hooked up to these machines, tasks such as reading or doing math problems each have corresponding areas of the brain where activity can be observed. But when researchers got the participants to listen to music, they saw fireworks. Multiple areas of their brains were lighting up at once. But when scientists turned from observing the brains of music listeners to those of musicians, the little backyard fireworks became a jubilee. It turns out that while listening to music engages the brain in some pretty interesting activities, playing music is the brain's equivalent of a full-body workout. The neuroscientists saw multiple areas of the brain light up, simultaneously processing different information in intricate, interrelated, and astonishingly fast sequences. But what is it about making music that sets the brain alight? The research is still fairly new, but neuroscientists have a pretty good idea. Playing a musical instrument engages practically every area of the brain at once, especially the visual, auditory, and motor cortices. And as with any other workout, disciplined, structured practice in playing music strengthens those brain functions.
So the neural connections were just going crazy. So playing a musical instrument will actually use all these parts of your brain, and then when you stop playing your instrument, those neural connections stay, and so you can kind of use those connections to help you organize information in your brain. So, I'm not joking when I'm saying that musicians are smarter. And sorry, violinist, it's not just you, it is all people who play musical instruments. If you think about it, I mean, the different number of tasks that you're doing when you're just playing the violin, you think about that. So first of all, you are using your left hand and you're putting down your fingers. So you're using fine motor skills. At the same time you're using your right hand, you're also using fine motor skills. With the left hand, you have to make sure that you put your finger down on the right note, so using fine motor skills, but it comes back with you get feedback for the sound, and then it goes back to the fingers where the fingers adjust slightly to correct the sound. Now with the bow, you not only just stroke back and forth, but you are also expressing emotions. So with the bow, you are expressing emotions as well as doing fine motor skills, but then you are reading music. So you're looking at the music, it goes in, you understand it, and then you translate it and bring it out on your instrument. So there are so many things happening in the brain when you're playing music, and you're also using that whole emotional part of you where you're releasing emotion, you're expressing yourself. So it's no wonder that so much of your brain gets used. So next time you pick up your instrument, remember that musical instrument players are smarter. If you want to convince your parents or others that, there's actually a very good reason for you to pursue the violin, here's one extra reason. You can say, Mum, Dad, but it actually makes me smarter. Now buy me that $2,000 violin. It has also been scientifically proven that when you play a crappy violin or a VSO, that your IQ goes down significantly. Again, I'm not quite sure how true that is, but it sounds about right. Anyway, so just remember, not only do you have a lot of fun playing a musical instrument, not only can you express yourself, can you make beautiful music and make lots of people happy, it also makes you smarter. So anyway, that's it for me today. Keep playing your violin to make yourself smarter. Keep making beautiful music. keep playing your instrument, and remember, if you like the video, hit the like button, press subscribe, and click the little bell so you find out every time I post a new video. Anyway, thanks guys, bye!